Hello, everybody. Welcome to Inside the Broken Family podcast. This week we have some missing family members off on a trip to Oregon. So it's a smaller group here today. But the way this works is we're going to go one by one and read a story or a poem that we each have written. And in between each story or poem, we will discuss our thoughts and what we think about them. All right, Annalie, you want to go first?
Sure.
Okay. Wait, I was curious if anybody had any thoughts about the last weeks.
Yeah, we can talk about that. Yeah, anybody have any thoughts about the last week or anything like that?
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really fun to listen to again.
We had our first guest on.
The guests were a blast.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed seeing and hearing people open up like they did. It was cool. That was really cool.
Yeah, completely agree. It made me excited for the future.
Hopefully we can have more guests on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you have a guest coming up yet?
Hopefully soon.
Howdy.
My close friends.
August. What are you gonna say? I know. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, I thought Anime's story about being at Planet Fitness, listening to our podcast was very good.
Cool moment.
Made me excited for the future.
Yeah. Danny's reflections on love.
Yeah,
It was good.
That was super cute and sweet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Have you guys been looking at the Instagram?
I have not.
I have.
Do you have Instagram?
Did
No.
you see?
Actually, I do. My business does.
Oh, that's true.
You set
Yeah.
one up for. I should download it and have it.
Yeah.
Did you see the one quote we did of your story last week?
Yeah. Yeah, I did. It was good.
Did you see it?
Yes, I did.
Oh yeah, it was a good one. Yeah, she showed me. Good quote.
I was reading it and I was like, gosh dang. This is good. This is good.
I've definitely gotten better at writing. Even it's been short, but since we started to where we are now, I've gotten better.
Yeah, I think about it differently.
Yeah.
Like the one I'm gonna read today, I wrote a while ago, and it was interesting to go through it.
Did you rewrite it?
Parts of it, yeah. Like, I mean, I went through it several times, and yeah, it was good. But I could see a difference. My thoughts are clearer now as I write.
That is something that's been happening. It's like you've been able to think in a way that's more
Clear.
I didn't want to use clear. I wanted to use a different word, but
Our vocabulary will grow too.
yeah. I was gonna say transferable, but I don't know if that made sense. All right, Annalie, you ready?
We did have some feedback from one listener that said she really enjoyed the podcast, but we should be nicer to our mom. I don't even remember being like too mean.
I think it's something that we do without noticing.
Yeah.
I really do.
I think we kind of just do it with everybody.
Yeah, we do. Yeah. Mom just sets herself up a lot.
She really does. Yeah. That's yeah. She really does. Too bad she's not here to defend herself.
What did she do last week that was set herself up?
Last week, what struck me as, I'll use the word forceful, and I didn't think it needed to be that way, or I thought it could be handled differently. When you read your first poem, she was like, "That was about me." Was that about me? That was about me, wasn't it?
He's like, I think that was about somebody here, right?
That was like,
automatically you're like, I'm not gonna give that out.
And then everyone started like being like, oh, maybe it was by yourself, and then she's like, but there was like this one part.
She wouldn't drop it. Yeah. That's our mom.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. We all have parts of her in us.
Yep. That's true. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. I decided to read 2 poems today. One that I wrote a few weeks ago that I've already kind of shared with everybody, but I just wanted to read it so that if I decided that, well, I wasn't going to be able to read it next week, so anyway, I just wanted to share it. It is, Where Did That Little Boy Go? New baby smell, snuggles trying hard to fill. He is so tiny, so strong, makes time stand still. Little fingers, tiny toes, mama kisses laid on thick. Hair that resembles a tiny chick. Smiles and little laughs make your heart go thump. So many hopes and desires for him to become. As he grows, he glows with cheer. Sometimes growth comes with a tear. He is exploring all new spaces, so much unknown in all those places. Tomorrow brings more learning. He is off and keeps my stomach churning. Soccer, baseball, basketball, he tries them all. He loves to play anything with a ball. I watch him laugh, run, fall, and cry. I comfort, and he is off again with a bye. Where did that little boy go? He is playing hard with friend and foe. He smiles back at me day after day. Slow down, time, slow down, I say. His sisters follow him around and around, gentle heart and tender moments to be found. What a sweet brother at times he can be. Then a big tease the next moment I see. Just wanting a laugh, to have some fun, all day with chickens in the sun. He fishes, hikes, grows even more. His dad teaches him to soar. He takes that little boy off to so many places, teaching him to have courage in all he faces. That boy becomes a little bigger still. Long hair starts to curl. Oh my goodness, I can't read my own writing. Boy, did he know how to twirl. Girls start to notice that twinkle. He makes sure his clothes don't have a wrinkle. He drives himself and goes out. Sometimes there are reasons to doubt. His courage and strength grow and grow. He loves a warrior's game that is never slow. Thinking and asking questions makes us proud. He causes us to question and leave the crowd. I am so grateful that little boy has grown into a young man, not scared to stand alone. He is still kind-hearted, gentle, and kind, strong in body, spirit, and mind. Where did that little boy go? I will tell you really slow. A young man now, off to great places, having courage in all he faces.
Very sweet.
Yeah, thank you.
They've all heard. You guys have all heard that one before, so.
It's worth hearing
Yeah.
again. Did you change anything in it?
No, I just couldn't read my own writing. That was the only thing that probably tried.
Your ability to rhyme is...
Oh, I have
Right.
another one. I just can't help it.
I'm curious, why did you say you can't read it next week?
Because I think that it would be too emotional.
Okay.
Because he's leaving then?
He's leaving the next day. Yes. So.
Yeah.
Leaving for 6 months. He's gonna be gone.
Yeah.
Having adventures.
Writing stories.
Yeah, you be
On the beach.
Writing
writing
stories.
lots of stories. Your stories will only grow too.
Yeah,
With on a date, I'll just
Hold that thought.
I just had the most profound thought.
That was a great line. Hold on.
Wait, we should write this down.
That should be one of your dates.
Yeah.
Stories together.
That'd be fun.
That'd be cool. That'd be a cool date. Creative.
And she could be a guest
Yeah.
from the Zoom call,
From-
whatever we do.
From Japan or Korea or somewhere around the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you talked about time slowing down or wanting time to slow down. It's funny that we do that as people, like that we even wish for something that's impossible. It's not even in the grasp of reality, but we still want it.
I was talking about that with a client, this idea of I've had more and more experiences of having profound moments in time where I just so grateful and just like full of I don't know, say presence, but in that same moment, that moment dies the second it's born. So there's like a deep sadness that comes with that. It's like, because I can never, it's there and then it's gone. The only thing I can do is be there for it, but I can't hold on to it. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of fun memories and experiences. 18 years.
Yeah. I'm really excited to see what the next 18 years look like for you.
Yeah, good.
But I am a little sad that those moments have passed. So.
Yeah.
You guys got married at 19, right? Also?
18.
I was
18.
18.
Well, if you're gonna keep up the tradition.
Very cool.
We fly
there and have a podcast. It'd be fun.
It'd be the reception.
We could have it with her family.
Yeah.
Make them sit down and just tell stories.
Just take time. All of us that have gotten married, we took time together.
That is true.
Thursday.
That is true.
Yeah.
It blows my mind when people get married like 3 months, 6 months, like really quick.
Like mom and dad.
Yeah.
Your parents.
Like mom
blows
and
my
dad.
mind.
Yeah. Look at them. They're happy as 2 peas in a pod.
They are 2 peas in a pod.
This is true. Alright, you guys ready for another one?
Yeah.
Alright, I don't really know the title for this one, so
I don't really know.
I don't know. Alright. As I grew, I watched and I learned, feeling your love needed to be earned. I had so many hopes and aspirations, trying to meet all those expectations. I thought you were there listening to my woes when I was distinguishing friends from foes. Could I trust that I would be heard? Would you be there if my life suddenly swerved? If I kept to the path that was paved, is that the only way I could be saved? For years that path was wonderful and sound. I was trying my best to not look around. I thought I was living the dream. I had answers, at least it seemed. It was a struggle most days to accomplish it all. So many days I would cry out and bawl. You said life isn't easy, but it would be worthwhile. Chasing eternity with a smile in each trial. Looking to the future, striving to live for you. I missed enjoying moments with myself and people too. Now, discovering more, it has hurt me to the core. So many stories and lies that are hard to ignore. I felt I knew you, at least, so I thought. But I was misled, deceived, and know this is mistaught. That it is mistaught. So now I will start over in watching and learning, striving for truth and striving to be discerning. I say farewell to what I once knew and embrace what is, because that is all I can do.
I really liked the part where you talked about starting over, because you have to start over from what you've been taught. You can't. You have to learn for yourself and find it on your own. You can't have anybody else tell you how it is or how your relationship with God should be.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it kind of felt like. That I had to start over.
Yeah. Well, when you're in a religion, there's so many things that are told to you that you have to believe. That you have to completely let go of everything in order to get rid of those things, because they go so deep at foundational level with your beliefs. There's every little thing that you've been told.
Makes me think of this idea of if something is true, you should be able to pull it completely apart, examine all the individual pieces, you should be able to put it back together, and it should remain the same. It's like an engine. I could take an engine apart, put it back together, it's still going to be an engine. So we should be able to do that with ideas and beliefs and not worry about what comes out of that, because if something's true, it's going to remain true.
I've been thinking so much about that lately, listening to conservatives speak or liberals speak or anybody speak about anything, and they talk about ideas being, oh, these ideas are going to infect us, or these ideas are going to, these are so bad. And I'm like, well, if the ideas you taught people were strong enough, it wouldn't be a problem to show them any other idea. It wouldn't be a problem to show them anything else, because it wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I've been doing a lot, is just completely taking apart all my beliefs and putting it back together. And as I put the engine back together, the engine just keeps getting smaller and smaller.
More efficient, maybe?
I take it apart, and then there's like pieces that I'm like, I don't need that. I don't want that. And then it just gets smaller. Yeah, more efficient. And then there's things that when I took it apart the first time, I'd be like, but I still want that in there. And then go back and take it apart again, and it's like, I don't need that. I don't want that.
Yeah, it's hard to let go of ideas too. You had a line about I had the answers, at least I thought I did. That is very true oftentimes. It's weird that we do that though. We have any assurity at all in our own ideas or ideas that have been told to us. It's just a weird thing that we do.
Personally, when listening to that, I wasn't thinking about religion, I was thinking about parents. And just when you grow up, just how that changes. And how you realize your relationship was purely just parent and child instead of a real connection. And then you have to restart or either break away from that and start fresh for yourself.
Relationships take work from both sides, even when it comes to God or parents.
And genuine, I think genuine work to what? Genuine work to see each other, not to like change each other. There's a big difference in those intentions or energies. I'm going to come to this relationship to work so I can change you. Ooh, I don't know if that's helpful or useful.
Probably not.
That doesn't mean that we don't stretch each other and challenge each other, but yeah, there's a different energy in seeing someone versus changing them, wanting to.
All right.
Alright.
Next reader.
Emily, you get a pick?
Pick. Emmy.
Let's go. You're next, kid. You don't have to if you don't want to. But that's why you're here.
You don't want to do it right now?
You don't want to do it right now, or you don't want to do it tonight? Okay.
Okay. Jeffrey, here you go.
Okay. Okay.
So I'm gonna read a poem that I wrote. I can't remember how long ago. It was like probably a year to 2 years ago. It's called Faceless Crowd. And I wrote a story based off of this poem. I'm gonna read it to you. I'm walking through a well-known place, black and white, at a comfortable pace. Nothing impulsive, nothing new. Then a spontaneous flower grew. A vibrant colored flower was infectious to the touch. It brought color to my eyes to see what wasn't much. What I saw was a faceless crowd, a crowd unseeing, a little too proud, a faceless crowd in one direction, heading to their doom without inspection. I can stop, turn around. I'm pushed, then fall to the ground. Trampled I am, I can't stay. I must turn to look for another day.
Really like that image of I don't know. I could picture like watching a movie and the image of it being gray and then suddenly like color pop.
Yeah, flower growing.
Yeah.
Flower growing and showing you how stupid what we're doing here is. Yeah.
Sometimes. Yeah. And that sort of like opening one's eyes, color opening one's eyes.
It takes something new in order for something, in order to spark change. Something that you have to be like, oh, what's that? Why is that there? Otherwise, you're just gonna continue with the crowd. All right. Now is my story based off that poem. This world was a comfortable gray. Every day the same, a symphony of black and white. Every moment certain, simply just to march forward with this crowd. Told to march, so I marched. Told to draw nearer to the voice, so I approached. I marched with certainty because those around me marched doubtlessly forward, and because the unseen voice instructed. I liked it that way, predictable. This way of life was sure and safe. In this crowd I felt taken care of, with a path already paved. Then bursting through the stone-cold asphalt was a riot of color erupting in front of my feet. A defiant flower. This flower bloomed in impossible hues of red and yellows. Without hesitation, I picked this blossom. It felt soft and velvety, a texture as alien as the vibrant colors themselves. The sweet scent filled my senses, a sharp contrast to the bland air. Suddenly, the people around me seemed wrong. The crowd marching in a singular direction seemed directionless. Faceless automations rushing headfirst toward a massive, crumbling cliff that stretched like the ocean meeting its horizon's line. A shove sent me sprawling as I protected my flower, holding it close to my chest as I landed on my back, sparking something new. The impact igniting pain, a new feeling that made me feel invigorated, excited, and also frightened. I scrambled to my feet, but the press of bodies was relentless. I could make out the ominous edge, an edge that
that the crowd was headed for, and they were taking me with them. The crowd didn't know their fate. All they had was ears. All they could do was listen. They had no eyes to see the end, and no mouth to ask the question. My push against the crowd was fruitless. It only caused me to fall. So the crowd's current carried me towards doom, but just in reach, as we neared the edge, was a streetlight. I reached out and caught the pole and forced myself up from the tide of people. Now high up and out of reach of the crowd, I could see it clearly. The ground beneath them seemed to shimmer and distort, a hungry maw waiting to consume them all. Beyond the cliff, a sight even more bizarre filled me with dread. A floating throne, made of what looked like polished bone, hovered impossibly in the air. Perched upon this throne, barking its commands, was a grotesque pig. Its skin was sickly, pale, mottled pink, like a sunburned leather. Two tiny eyes, bloodshot and runny, gleamed with malice. Its voice, raspy and rough, like it had been gargling gravel for years, echoed through the monochrome world. Jump, jump for the glorious chromo below. It wheezed, the words raspy and coughing their way out. Now that you've given your faces, eternal color awaits. The pig's promise booming through the ears of those who gave their mouths away. I knew that I wouldn't stay. I knew that I couldn't stay, but a sliver of hope remained. Maybe somewhere there was another flower, another burst of color in this colorless world, a proof that color could be found without the fall. But this defiant bloom, this beacon of beauty, wasn't enough. The crowd's choice to give their faces had been made. They were doomed to blind silence. I had to find a way to pass through the faceless crowd, to find those who still had a voice, not sold. I needed to show them an alternative way, a path to find their own color, where a pig's voice can be denounced and ignored. I needed to show them before they blindly listened to the pig's raspy commands and sold their faces. The flower, a symbol of rebellion, whispered a promise. A promise of a different kind of color, a world not dictated by a tyrant with a smoker's cough. With a newfound purpose, I jumped into the faceless crowd below, embracing the pain as I pushed through the already doomed tide of bodies. As I continued to push through, I continued to fall. I continued to get trampled, but my determination kept me getting back up and pushing through. The thought of colors of a free world fueled my strength.
I like the part where you talked about, I liked how you described the crowd in your story as ears and no eyes.
Or mouth, right?
Or mouth, yeah. And it reminds me of this drawing that I drew in college, and we were supposed to draw something that represented what we were good at, and I drew big ears. And so and that was like before I kind of realized more about myself, and so it was just interesting because that was my path to be a part of the crowd.
That is interesting.
Yeah, that was a part that stood out to me too, was this idea of people giving away their faces, so they're only left with ears to follow someone else's voice. A very interesting idea.
Yeah.
And as you described, the pop of color, and then that drive to find more of moments filled with color. It made me flashed in my head this last week as I've driven to work. There's this little patch of super bright, probably like 6 inches in diameter, so pretty big flowers on the side of the road that I drive by, and every time I'm like, dang, it's like incredible.
Yeah.
It's like a little moment of awe. Yeah.
Snap you out of just going through life a little bit.
Yeah.
I liked your voices.
Yeah.
Remind me of the music you listen to.
What music might that be, Annalie?
Raspy.
Is that a genre?
It's devil worship, Jeffrey. You need to stop listening to that now.
No.
No. That's good. It was a good expansion on your poem.
Yeah.
Good details. Are you gonna write? So that's like one part.
Yeah, that's first part. I want to continue and write second part.
Cool.
See where the character goes, what he discovers.
Sweet.
All right, Peyton, you ready?
Today I have 3 short poems. Alright, the first one is called Pride Will Kill Us in the End. Sitting alone in a room, a mom cries. Her children are killing each other. She does not want to accept why. For years, she cried with all of her children around, constantly convincing the vulnerable kids around her, I am right. Believe me, I am right. She never told them all the wrong she did. And now she sits alone in a room crying. All of her kids are killing each other. At least all of her kids know they are right. I sit here and I hear you. Well, she said something in a way I don't like. I sit here and listen to everyone. Well, he acts in a way I don't like. None of it matters. A mom sitting in a room crying, siblings killing each other. It doesn't matter if nobody's left to testify. It doesn't matter if you're right. All you have around you is a wall. No family, no friends, no tribe, no people. Nothing but pride in yourself and how you think. Down with your pride. Let's start over. You can be someone new. For if we don't, pride will kill us in the end.
Made me think of our hike today and some of the conversations we had, and Mom and Dad have given us a lot of good things and a lot of good traits, but I think our parents are pretty stubborn people, and not a bad thing necessarily. It can be a bad thing, but I think I have picked up on some of that stubbornness throughout my life. Of I am right, and I'll kill anybody's ideas that challenge mine.
I definitely have to. Yeah, and sometimes it can be helpful in ways, and then sometimes it's really damaging.
Made me think how helpful something like this podcast is. You have to let down all your walls and be vulnerable.
You really do.
You can't have pride when you're reading your own writing.
No, it's subject to
Maybe
everybody's.
that's why some people are afraid to come on the podcast.
Could be.
Yeah, it's possible. I think also it's really hard to have pride or stubbornness towards another person when they're sharing something that they've put their heart and soul into and they've thought about. It's theirs. So
Yeah.
it's not, yeah, it's just theirs. So it's just like, oh, wow, okay. There's nothing to argue about. We can like talk about ideas after and argue about those, but you can't argue with, it's just yours.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really cool to watch that fall apart, because your idea, somebody really does, it just falls apart. It's like, oh, everything I was thinking was wrong.
Yeah, definitely can. Yeah.
All right, the next one is called A Modern Mind. A Modern Mind. I do not believe in God. I have seen the dead, and they are not loved. The red, white, and blue flags wave outside buildings. A world where the loudest voices win. Love is something that can be bought, and freedom comes at the cost of your dreams. People holding screens in place of their eyes to look at a world that doesn't even exist. Anyone out there? Is anyone truly even aware? Do you know what we have done? Given up our humanity, docile creatures at the mercy of the masters, for the sake of surviving, to buy a house, a car, a woman, a man, anything at all. One happy moment passing like wind through chimes. All of this for nothing. We are the dead. We are not loved, and I do not believe in God.
It made me think about an idea I've thought about often, which is, if I was to die tomorrow or today or tonight or whatever, the world would just keep turning. Yeah, there would be some people that are sad, but in the grand scheme of things, the world would just keep turning. Wouldn't even bat an eye. And I think that's just true for all of us.
Yeah, I would agree. I would definitely agree. There's a weird part of your ego that like wants to think you're so special.
Yep.
That you matter like so much. And then you start thinking about the billions of people that have lived before you and the billions of people that have been forgotten.
They also have the same ego.
Yeah, the same ego. I'm special. It's like, try to remember two grandpas back and his brother. I don't know. You won't.
Yeah.
You won't.
What's that Macklemore song? He has a line in there that's something like I can't even remember, but it's talking about dying twice essentially. You die once when you die, and then a second time when the last person says your name. Your name will never be said again.
That's such a fascinating thought.
Yeah.
I saw a YouTube video that talked about this idea, and it was two kids. It was an animation, and it was two kids running through a museum, and they come across a computer, and on this computer is an old file, a YouTube video, and they start playing the video, and it's talking about Einstein and his theory of relativity and all this other stuff, and the kids are like, I wonder who this guy was. I wonder what this just is.
No idea.
No idea.
Yeah.
No idea. And it zooms out, and it's like the year 3000, and everybody's forgotten everything, and it doesn't matter. And yeah.
You said one line in there. Only the loudest voices win.
A world where the loudest voices win.
That's very true. It's not the right voices. It's not the voices with the most thought out ideas. It's the voices that people listen to.
That scream.
That's, yeah.
Have the most power.
It makes me think about this idea of parenting and how there's seems to be a large portion of our population that wants to, if a kid gets loud, it's like, just do anything you can to get that kid to be quiet, to stop having such high emotions and then high behaviors, and it seems like our society is just treating each other that way.
Yeah, it definitely reflects with like the rates of like opioid abuse and depression and anxiety. It's like people are so emotionally stunted because of that exact idea.
You said also our dreams die for freedom or something like that.
Love is something that can be bought, and freedom comes at the cost of your dreams.
That's an interesting idea. Like what do we give up to feel like or to think that we're somehow free? At what cost?
I think of money as freedom in the sense of like, especially going back, like joining the workforce, doing the 9 to 5, having the money, having that freedom. It's giving up your dreams of, because you're stuck in that routine.
And that's 99% of society.
Yeah, absolutely.
Gives up their dreams to survive,
Join the system.
to buy a house, to buy a car.
Yeah.
To be quote unquote free in America.
To buy whatever junk they want.
Live the American dream.
I was talking to a client about, and they were serious. Like, I was sort of they're a car person, and I was like, I've never cared about cars. It's just never something that I've thought about or really cared about. As long as my car runs, great. That's all I care about. Good gas mileage, great. And they were just talking about how their driving force is to, as a car, using a car as an example, to get a car that's nice and fancy and new so that people around them notice and think that they're successful. It's interesting.
I think that used to be a driving force for me. I don't even think I realized it, but I think it was. Where I just wanted people to like, I'm doing it. Because I didn't want to go to college. So when I graduated from high school and I got a good job, I wanted people to be like, oh, you can do it. You could be fine.
Yeah. It's that sort of keeping up with the Joneses idea is so interesting when you look at American society and how I think the average household is like $10,000 in debt. That's the average in terms of like savings.
We're average, Pete.
But that's incredible to think about, because
Yeah.
you see all these people that are driving really nice vehicles, and 90% of them are living paycheck to paycheck, just barely trying to make that payment.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it's interesting.
All right, this next one is I guess my intentions being here on this podcast. I will stand here holding your hand high, a champion to your heart. Stare up at the stars, love the sun, love the moon. Look at the beauty that exists outside of us. Let go of your expectations. Live with me now. Forgive your forgotten wonders. Water the flowers you've abandoned. Help me create the mercy we need. Just stay here. Stay here and I will love you. Let's hold our hands high, shouting up at the lost. Love the sun and love the moon. There exists a beauty around us. It engulfs our beings. Let it take over your heart, the champion of your soul. Light, dark, everything, beauty.
Beauty. That's even, we were talking about this idea of pulling ideas apart.
Mm-hmm.
And I think even beauty is something that, at least for me, I've had to pull apart and think about what's actually beauty for me.
Yeah.
Not what I learned as a kid, not what my parents said, or religion, or society. Even that idea has to be pulled apart and then put back together, like you were saying. And then suddenly I get moments of like pure beauty for me.
Yeah.
Once you get past all the stuff that society says is beautiful or what you've been taught is supposed to be beautiful, then you can actually find that pure beauty.
Yeah, I think beauty is subjective in a sense, like, if you look at, like, the whole world, everyone has a different view of beauty. Like, all the different countries, for example, America wants to be tan, China wants to be more pale. It's like all opposite.
Yeah. Yeah, beauty definitely is subjective. I didn't necessarily, I don't know. I said light, dark, everything, beauty. I was trying to say everything.
Yeah. Well, even darkness is beautiful to people. Some people like the nighttime and some people like the daytime.
Yeah, I think as people, there's just something that happens, and as you get older, when you're a kid, I think you recognize that beauty that feeds your soul. Like it really talks to you. You recognize that, and as you get older, your parents tell you what you should think is beautiful, what looks good or what's bad, and you kind of lose that part of yourself.
Like,
So, yeah.
You lose that inner child that's just like viewing any little thing as beautiful, or is that what you mean?
Yeah. There's like a part of yourself.
Like wonder.
Yeah. Yeah, like wonder.
Like this little one on our hike today, like, I'm climbing a mountain.
Yeah.
3 feet.
Yeah, she's like 3 feet up. But
it was
she
like,
is, yeah.
For
She
her,
is.
it was like, yeah, I'm doing this.
And then to people looking at her, it's like, well, no, but no,
Yeah.
she is.
Yeah.
I really liked how you said noticed the moon. I don't know, and the stars.
So
Did you say that?
Yeah, I said,
Something like that.
stare up at the stars, love the sun, love the moon.
Okay. So I just kind of thought about how you have notice things. Take the time to notice and to see the world around you, because it is a beautiful place. And that's why.
I had that experience yesterday, actually. I was at Porcupine Reservoir, and I stripped down to my underwear, got in the water, which was it was cold, but nothing like the cold plunge we did today.
It was like,
I was like, maybe I'm getting used to this.
it was
But anyways, it was midnight, 11 o'clock at night, so it was dark, the stars were out, and I was just looking up at the sky and sitting in the water, just like, wow, this is amazing. And I was also like, I'm gonna miss this place, Utah, for 6 months, or maybe longer, I don't know what's gonna happen, but yeah.
I'm hoping for 6 months.
I hope
At
to
least
see
come
you then.
back.
Yeah. I hope to see you then.
Come back
But
for
whatever life
Christmas.
brings. Yeah, whatever life brings. Yeah, it makes me. I had a similar experience on one of my morning walks. I was sort of above the valley, looking over the valley, and there was fog and snow-capped mountains, and it's just like, what? Where am I? What is this place? Green mountains right now. It's just like, what am I doing? It's just incredible.
I'll have that realization every couple of weeks. I'll look outside and I'll look at the mountains, and just like you, I'll be like,
Yeah.
what is anybody doing?
Am I?
We're in the middle of massive mountains on each side of us and all around, and we're all just going to work
on this blue planet.
We're all just going to work to go what? To go make cabinets?
Yeah, strange.
Yeah, there's beauty in everything, in light and in dark, and
well, and I think there's an argument to be made that you can't have. You need both of those things to have beauty.
yeah,
Like if you just had one thing, everything would be bland. It would all be that one thing.
100%.
So you just need that contrast, I guess.
It's like off of Guardians of the Galaxy, Drax, where he doesn't understand like emotion, so he's just like he's always serious, and because of that, it's like you said, it's just the same thing.
Yeah.
Or Orion in the Dark, that movie, the
it's a good
kids movie.
Yeah.
It's like if everything's light, then nobody
Oh,
wants the light.
Yeah.
And you need the dark
You need the dark.
in order to appreciate the light,
You need the dark.
and vice versa.
Now that's a concept that doesn't go over well here. You need the dark.
That does not go good. That's Satan talking to you. All right, Abby, you ready?
Yeah.
Abby's been saying that she doesn't have something written
I figured it out.
all week.
I got it down. Right. I figured it out.
Nice.
Ouch. Okay. So this one is called, it's a poem. It's called There's Two of Us. Two best friends joined at the hip. You would look at them and see only one. They were there for one another at their lowest. Betray came from others and they went to each other. Playing alone in a room, letting their imagination be a distraction. Saying to each other their deepest secrets. Facing reality was easiest together. Erasing the bad and replacing it with good. Having one another was all that mattered. Halving each other's burden was what made it easier. Laughing away the tears in their company, attaching their emotions onto one another. Learning to see themselves as who they are, turning one and the same. Then one day will become whole. They one day will become whole. And that's it.
Made me think about how important community is, and how many truly lonely people there are in this world.
Can you read your? I think it was the first line.
Two best friends joined at the hip.
One more.
You would look at them and see only one.
Yeah. So you're talking about not having anybody and confiding in yourself.
Yeah. You knew that though. You cheated.
You cheated.
You could guess. You could get that
Yeah.
from that.
It's about dissociation.
So I was thinking. I thought of the music video to My Blood, 21 Pilots,
Yeah.
where it's the whole music video is it's two friends or two brothers.
Yeah.
They're going through all these experiences in high school, and then at the end of the music video, he shuts the door, goes inside, and then it turns out to be just him, and he did all the experiences with him. It was just him.
Him showing up for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what that's about. Being your own best friend and having to confide in yourself.
It's as I do deeper therapeutic work with people, I often come to this concept of reparenting self, because no one else is going to give that person really what they need. They have to show up for them. It's an interesting idea.
You said reparenting self.
Yeah, reparenting self. Yep.
That's the way to look at it.
I really like the idea of being your own best friend. It's an empowering idea, finding power within confiding in yourself. I'm we all do that with our writing, especially. Being able to think you're kind of, it's like talking to yourself, sharing ideas, putting them on paper.
I think the because I've gone through almost my entire life when confiding in self was pretty harsh, was pretty negative, was the predominant voice. And so I think if that's happening, it's not super helpful. But if you can do that with respect, if you can treat yourself the way that you would treat any stranger on the street, then maybe you're getting somewhere.
Or treat yourself like you treat your closest friend.
Sure. Yeah, I like that idea too.
Yeah, I would talk to myself, and then I still did it when me and Peyton were married, and it would freak me out.
It would freak me out.
I felt better.
Did you get mad? We got in a fight. I would be angry, look at my phone, and all of a sudden I would just hear her in the kitchen being like talking. I'd be like, what is going on? But it would be talking, not like talking to yourself, but like a conversation with herself.
I guess it's not a novel idea, because I don't know if Dad did this as much with you guys, but growing up, my dad talked to himself often, and like out loud, playing. It was usually during playing sports, and so.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't remember that as much.
Yeah, he would talk to himself often, and it was usually pretty harsh.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, can you give me an
Come
example?
on, Jeff.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
That's funny.
You got that trait?
Yeah, I did that for much of my life. Yeah, and I still do it every once in a while, but it's way less intense, and
Yeah. It's more like you just like make your shots. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting. I've had a conversation with Payne about it. Just when I talk in my head, because now I talk to myself in my head more. I just I hear my own voice.
Bring her back.
I don't know who it was.
It was Zena. But Payne says he doesn't think with his voice in his head. He just thinks, and so I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it. It's not like I have words playing in my head all the time. Just like when I write, it's just like it just happens. It's like feelings. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like I don't really have constant voices. It's just like feelings.
I have constant voices.
Me too.
A dialogue. Yeah. Emmy, are you ready to read your story?
Do it, Emmy. Go for it, kid.
I don't have a name for this poem. I wrote it off of my school. I had to write it off of a picture of a forest. So, clouds are such a wondrous sight. The sky is a beautiful blue. The air is thick and smells like smoke from a campfire. And the trees are tall, green, and beautiful. And the mountains are rocky and a beautiful white.
What an amazing description of the world around you. It really was.
Yeah, I can see that picture.
Mm-hmm.
It made me. Mom's not here, so we'll pick on her. Nana. Growing up, Nana was scared of everything. And so if I went hiking or hunting or fishing, and if I went out into the forest to, I don't know, pee or something, I was pretty nervous. What's out there? And anytime we did that kind of activity, we always had a campfire, and campfires are very calming in the woods. They're very comforting. And so I can imagine going out feeling pretty nervous and then getting closer to camp and smelling that campfire and that comfort. As you read that, yeah, that sort of fills the forest around the little site we're at.
It's funny that you talk about going out into the woods and being scared. When we went to Montana, like 3 years ago,
You saw the alien spaceship.
yeah, the Starlink. I had to go to the bathroom, and I had to go poop. I went out into the woods,
You can't say that on
and
radio.
I was so worried that a bear was gonna eat me. And I'm like a 19-year-old, like out in the woods, not very far from camp, but my brain was just consumed.
That's interesting. Because I don't have that experience.
You didn't grow up
Raised
with
by
Nana.
different people.
I've worked very hard not to reinforce fear.
Yeah, you think the bear's gonna come eat me. I'm like, what an opportunity if a bear came.
Bring it on.
We'll find a bear.
It's like the video of people being scared and afraid.
Exactly.
Me when I'm playing dodgeball. Yeah, you think you can hit me? Try again.
What was that video? It was some stupid commercial, but it's this Russian guy fighting a bear. Do you remember?
Oh
Yeah, John Eric. That was on that trip.
It made me think of that. Bring it on.
That was an hilarious video.
Like even today, walking on the trail, and these two were ahead of us. I have thoughts run through my head of like what ifs.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, and I just have to breathe and be like,
It's not reassuring. Those
It's
voices
what it is.
that won't ever go away.
Yeah.
It's gotten softer. Well, I will say it's gotten quicker, meaning it comes and then I stay present and it goes quicker. I don't dwell on it.
I mean, there were lots of patches of fur and feathers
Yeah.
along the way, so we know that there
Did you
are
guys not see there was a patch of
things
there
that
was
eat
a
other
deer.
things there.
There was a dead deer. There was
Yeah.
like bones.
Yeah, do you remember did you hear what she said?
No. What'd she say?
She goes, we walk past this carpet of deer fur, and she goes, "What's that?" That's deer fur. She goes, we take a few steps, and she goes, "Dad, did someone shave that deer?"
She's been watching Miley shave the dog.
Yeah, Miley shaved the dog, so it
There's
makes sense.
there's
That
a
makes
carpet of fur this week.
Pretty cute.
That was-
Last person.
Yeah.
Right?
You're the last person.
This is a small group today.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it is. For anybody listening, we were talking about a hike we did this morning. It was a pretty nice hike.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful, yeah.
Yeah, it was very pretty.
Beautiful day.
It made me want to do more.
Yeah.
And it,
Practice for a Wind Rivers hike.
yeah. If you ever get a chance to go to the Wind Rivers, do it. Okay. This is something that I wrote maybe a year and a half ago. The time of transition in my life, just pondering life, and so I found this and sorry, there was a haunting in the house. Just a lonely dog.
Genuine haunting.
Yeah. So I wrote this about a year and a half ago, and I think I was sitting at one of my daughter's softball games. So this is what came out. This is called The Game. Life is a game. Naivete breathes life into excitement. A blind, headfirst dive courageously into the game, unaware of the pits full of spikes and the tripwire bombs, endless possibilities for harm from all directions. Fire-breathing dragons and dart-shooting snakes, wild laughing hyenas and dancing deceptive clowns, scarred models prancing and posing, breeding confusion and hurt from generation to generation, the persistent endowment of this human family. In this game, there are so many different goals and balls, all different shapes and sizes, so many rules and demands and game plans. Shoot here, not that way. Run over here, not like that. Duck and jump higher, faster and faster, shout the bounteous coaches and the endless crowd. From a distance, excitement exudes, and a desire to be in the game heightens. Being in the middle of the game, the first time, excitement and desire are whisked away by a tornado of uncertain clumsiness and cacophonous voices. Spinning and falling hurt. The game was sold as fun, a golden field leading to trophies of glee. They promised the prancing models and the muddled coaches and fallacious crowd. Despite deep bruises and consistent befuddlement, belief is held tightly that happiness is attained through hitting targets. Despite the ruling belief that happiness is the pinnacle, some build sandcastles for unicorns and scoop bubblegum ice cream for tree fort supplies. But these are the exceptions, not the rule. Why are so many insistent on selling flying pigs and self-dancing puppets and promising if you buy, you are guaranteed a bullseye of bliss? Why does nobody say you don't have to buy? Perhaps the majority are frightened of fire. Perhaps posing models and theorizing coaches programmed them to ignore burns. Now they march through the game with skin melting off while they smile and lie. The little ones learn to pretend their skin isn't blistering and oozing while they stare blankly, nod, and aim for euphoria. This game is treacherously haunting. It is true. It will knock you down over and over again and burn all of you. Yet, a soothing salve is offered in the present. Breath and purpose are found in the daily hot coal walk. Eventually, this game will end me. But no matter how burnt I get or how often I fall, I will never take myself off the field or out of the game. Only the great unknown can sit me on the bench. As long as I have breath, I choose to play this game. I will play this game with eyes wide enough to see the sun and moon and stars. I will play this game with candid curiosity and inexhaustible imagination. I will attune to time stopping. I will smile and bow with tears in my eyes for the opportunity to play this game.
That was really pretty. I liked it a lot. I really enjoyed your description of the human family. You should read that again. I can't remember it all, but I really liked it. I said, I don't know if this is what you're talking about, but I said fire-breathing dragons, dart-shooting snakes, wild laughing hyenas and dancing deceptive clowns, scarred models prancing and posing, breeding confusion and hurt from generation to generation, the persistent endowment of this human family. Yeah.
I think it's a little bit of a what's the word? Like a trope? Is that the idea?
Yeah.
Or like there's another phrase for it, but it's very true that hurt people, and it's not always done maliciously. I don't think parents are purposefully trying to hurt their kids a majority of the time. So, happens.
Yeah, I saw this video about like how to create bullies, I guess, in your kids is by just like treating them awful or yelling at them or shouting at them and tearing them down, because then they feel the need to do that
To treat other people that way.
so that they feel a bit higher in that scenario.
Mm.
That is true.
A dominance.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about dominance today.
We were talking about dominance today.
We'll leave that for another time.
Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah.
I was not there.
You were.
I was?
Yeah, you were.
You were definitely there.
Yeah.
You may not have been there, but you were there.
Oh. I wasn't a part of the conversation.
No, you were there.
I was?
Yeah, you definitely were there.
I don't remember.
The listeners are all like, what?
What is going on?
When you're talking about the game, you're talking about the game of life.
Yeah.
I think that just the opportunity to be grateful to be a part of the game is something that you miss when you have a set belief system that you're told.
100%. You take it for such granted.
Yeah.
Like just the odds of you existing. Like it's so small.
Yeah,
1 in
that's
400
really
trillion
Yeah.
is the odds of you being here, which is a number that
Plus
you can't
4.
even imagine.
Yeah.
Can't even imagine the reality of that.
But when you have religion saying that, you know, maybe there's a pre-existence and you're here because God has a plan for you. It's like you don't really. It's like, oh, I'm here because God put me here. It's not like I should be grateful for the opportunity to actually be here and live in the moment and play the game.
Yeah.
With tears in my eyes, or maybe I win, maybe I lose. Like there's.
Hopefully, I do both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Reminds me of rugby. Throughout my high school years of playing, it's been a
Pretty
lot
crazy.
of winning and losing.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
That's very
You went from only losing
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
to like half
Yeah.
to only winning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were talking about belief systems, and I think it's sad that this isn't my original idea. I heard it on someone telling their story of death, but sad that these belief systems create an idea in us that that if there is a God, that somehow their love is conditional. You have to jump through these hoops. You have to hit this target. You have to do it this way, and only then do you earn this God's love. And that's, I think, a pretty toxic idea.
100%. People will spend their whole lives trying to do that.
At least it was for me.
But it's weird because at the same time, religion to certain people seems to have some benefit in a way.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I don't know if that's just because you don't have to put in the energy to thinking about where you're at, really.
I was thinking about that, though. That idea of, I think I did most of what I did in my life because of being told I had to earn love, or and then it made me think, like, is that really moral? Was I really a moral person? And I'm not judging anybody. I'm just talking through my own experience, and it just made me really question about who I was as a human.
Yeah, can you do anything genuine
If I'm doing it just
doing it
because
for
Yeah.
a reason?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw something where it's like you trust, like, people that aren't Christian or aren't religious that are genuinely good people are like the ultimate good people in the sense because there's not anything motivating them to be good besides just being.
Get to heaven.
Yeah, because they're not being good to get into heaven or being good to get praise from other people or to be charitable. They're just being themselves.
It's pretty funny that like atheists are like a really nice atheist, somebody who's really kind and genuine, who doesn't believe in anything, probably is the closest thing you can get to like a genuine person.
Possible. I mean, that we're all human, and so we all come with this programming that happens as children and stuff. So, but yeah,
That's true.
and yeah.
I don't know necessarily if that's true. Because
Which
if
part?
you say just the atheist part, because if you say you're an atheist, then you're saying that you know that God doesn't exist. I think the only way you can actually be fully genuine is to say that you don't know.
Yeah, I guess that's what I was meaning.
That's what you're.
Because I think you're right. You're right. I misused the word atheist.
Someone that just is like, I don't know what this is, and I'm gonna be the best version of myself just because that's who I want to be. Yeah. Yeah. I had another thought, but it went away. Disappeared.
I like that you added in. You'll stay in the game, no matter what. You'll choose to look at the stars and the sun and the moon. It's a hard. I don't know. That's a thing I've debated a lot. So
Yeah.
What did you mean when you said the unknown is the only thing that could bench you?
Well, I think going through the transition I went through, I think it's more accurate for me to say that I don't know what's out there. So, whether that's, I don't know, we watched the Viking show and we stopped. and there was this line by one of the characters about whatever fate has for me, I'm going to show up with all of myself to that moment. So whether it's fate or whether it's God or whether it's nothing, I don't know. I'm making the choice to be here and be a part of this craziness no matter what. I don't know if that answered your question.
Yeah, it did. I really like that though. You aren't saying I'm here because God put me here or God has a plan for me or
Like in the game?
yeah.
Yeah, no.
You're here because you're choosing
I'm choosing to be here.
which is the most empowering thing that
Yeah.
you can say.
And I'm not saying, I mean, I don't want this, and I don't think any of us want this to be disrespectful to anybody. We're just talking about ideas, and that's all it is, just ideas. So it's not to say that. I mean, maybe there's a plan for each of us, and maybe that's a thing that's real. I mean, when our grandparents were alive, our grandfather would often talk about like, if we didn't move here at this time, then your mom wouldn't have met your dad, and da 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 da. And he would often talk about things like that, and so I don't know. But yeah, to go back to your point, I'm here because I'm choosing to be here. Because I want to be here. I want to experience this, whatever it is,
Yeah.
fully. Alright. Peyton, you want to take us home?
Yeah. I just want to reinstate that. We don't want to be disrespectful or demeaning to anybody's beliefs or anything like that. It just happens to be that all of us in this room have gone through a faith and come out of it on the other side, not believing in that faith anymore. And one day we hope to have more diverse opinions.
Absolutely.
So we could discuss and talk and debate more
And hear.
about on the podcast, more about our situations and our ideas. And
How cool would it be to have someone that's practicing Judaism and Islam and different sects of Christianity and to have all those ideas and talk about them.
to have somebody rip your ideas apart and put them back together.
Sure.
Yeah.
An atheist and
Everybody,
it'd be great. Jehovah's Witness.
it'd be really awesome.
Yeah.
All right, before we go, we need to. Any stories that stuck out to anybody? Any ideas? Anything we want to name this episode?
The Faceless Crowd.
The Faceless Crowd. Are we going to name that?
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm down for that.
We in agreement just like that? Nobody, no other ideas?
It's a
Faceless
cool name.
Crowd?
It's a cool name.
We could throw other ideas out there.
The Faceless Crowd.
That's great.
I can't remember that.
Well, that sounds pretty unanimous.
Yeah.
Are we going to do the 5-star thing?
Yeah, what's a good 5-star?
If you don't leave a 5-star, you're gonna join the Faceless Crowd.
Gonna fall into the
Yeah.
maw, the word I used.
I was gonna ask you what that was.
It's like a large animal's mouth.
Is a maw?
Oh, interesting.
Is a maw?
Yeah.
So they're all falling into this giant mouth.
Yeah.
Feeding it.
Yeah.
Huh.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us on this episode of In the Broken Family. Please leave us a 5-star review, and if you do not, you will fall into the maw.